Welcome my friends, Halo Okraheads here. We're talking about loon placement, air placement, and pathing specifically, and we're gonna jump into it. Okay, so let me find the attack. Now, I want to show the attack on number 10. So, with a couple things when you're doing air, we're going to skip the beginning part here. And she has a plan. Canadian woman had a plan for this. Going to speed this up. The ground kill squad did a lot. But the first thing you want to do is, with air, you want to realize where you're going to put your hounds down. Now, I know she had this in the plan, but when you execute it, you got to make sure your hounds tank and they're clearing a path for the loons so they'll trigger the air traps, if that makes sense. So right here at the beginning, look at this. You might not think putting this hound here to the right is a big deal, but you wanted to put the hound in front of the wizard tower or near it, so if there were bombs here, your loons would not be taken out. And look what happened. There was a red bomb right there taking down the loons. And because of that, and there was no haste to get these in here, she had the nice funnel of the right loons. Those loons died in the core, and there you go. That was a fail. But I'm going to show you. So this is a sketch that she did. It's an app. If you're not aware of it, it's an app that works. Now this is you're like, what is going on here? Well, I don't understand. Well, look what's going on. See this long orange line? This long orange line, that's where the hound was. And look, she had meant to put the hound right in front of the wizard tower. Didn't happen. So again, this is the pathing of loons. You're going to have 4 loons hit the wizard tower. That inferno. Here comes the whites of the loons. Here's 2 more for this section. Then you can tell she's going to bring 3 on this mortar. And again, the pathing is focusing towards. So it's going to start on this side of the map, and you're going to swing around, clearing the outside. You're going to swing around to hit here in the back end. Now you don't want to put these two placements. You don't want to put those loons down till you have cleared, until you have protection with your hound on this air defense right there. That's when you know to drop these loons, because if you drop these just right off the beginning, obviously they're gonna die. You need to tank for your loons. So generally you want to clear this air defense first, and then bring in your loons up here to the north, if that makes sense. So that is a sketch, and that's kind of the pathing. And then at the very end, obviously you're going to get it done, but that was her game plan. It didn't work out. That's okay. Okay, so here is my attack on this exact same base, and I sure got close. I just had, bad loon pathing, and I'll tell you what I mean here in a second. First of all, there are Teslas in the 4 corners, and I knew that, and I just forgot about. I remembered 2 of them, but I forgot the other 2, so that's really going to screw me over. But look, here comes this. This is what's going to go on in this moment. There's a couple things I should have done. This is when it helps to use 2 fingers at once, because if I had done it, I would have succeeded, and my pathing would have been perfect, and I would have gotten the 3-star. But look what happens. Here comes the first down. That's perfect. Perfectly done. What's happening? This mortar, I needed to drop the loons right when I dropped these loons. Because what's going to happen is these loons are actually going to come to this archer tower. And that's you have to understand that about pathing. I put the haste down, which is fine. Everything's going great. I was just late. I was about probably 6 seconds late on these loons. So what's going to happen is these loons will hit the inferno tower. And if this was taken down, if this archer tower was taken down, these loons here would have gone to this expo. And because this expo didn't drop, you're going to realize why the fail happened. Look, you see how patient I was on this one? I waited. I dropped these loons. These were good loons, because look, this archer tower will not hit them. They're locked onto this hound. Those are good loons. These weren't. Look, they're backtracking. No, that means they're caught all alone. Not good at all. Those 2 loons, maybe not so much. Maybe weren't the best. This hound, honestly, perfect hound. See, the hound came in perfectly because this air defense was taken out. That means I dropped my 3rd hound. Here comes the loon there. I was late on this. I was late on that one, but look. The thing I was talking about, see this expo? If this had dropped earlier, all these loons right here would have gone to this air defense. under the freeze. And I thought that's why I put the freeze down, because I thought the loons were going to go. But unfortunately, they backtracked and hit that there. Again, I was a little late on that cannon up to the north, and that really, those little, I mean, I got all the defensives down, but you can tell that pathing was just off. It was nice, and I forgot to put my loon in this corner there, and so that's what happened. So again, it really came down to the first part of the raid. Yes, I made the mistake up there to the north, that cannon, but it wasn't the biggest one. But the biggest funneling issue was at the very beginning, because I didn't drop my loons to the side. So keep that in mind. I should have I don't know why I didn't do the double. I do double fingers, but I didn't do it this time, and because of that, it cleared everything out. But I forgot the Teslas, and yeah. There it goes. But you can tell, I mean, I just ran out of time, but that is what I'm talking about, the pathing, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so we have another Town Hall 10 and pathing, but keep in mind, this video is not all inclusive, so I'm going to put out another video talking more about the pathing, but this is kind of the intro for people, getting you aware of what's going on. We're going to speed it up to get to the air portion and how he deals with this funneling. Now, this is, okay. Nicely done here. So why did he not drop a hound up here? I mean, he could have. There's a couple things. You could drop a hound, but there's only one archer. So he brought enough loons to take care of it. Now he brought extra loons because he realized these were gonna path to the Inferno. So he wanted to make sure the Inferno went down, but he wanted to save his hound, I believe, and not let the queen kind of take it out in case it locked onto it. So this is nicely. He puts a hound down. Then he puts loons behind it. Now, he brought tons of loons so he could he did that on purpose. So once he dropped his hound down, then he dropped these other units right behind it. Now, he brought extra loons so he can not spam, but he can put more loons on each structure. And you notice, though, these loons are here just to make sure that the inner core loons would not path to the outside. They wouldn't have done it anyway, but just in case. But he already knew that was there, the pathing. But the heel perfectly done. Now in the southern section, he understands that this is the time to bring in his other hound, because this air defense was already taken out. You don't put this down before this one's taken out, okay? He cleared that first air defense. Now he's coming in on the southern end. He drops the hound first. Then he drops loons for this archer tower, loons for this wizard tower, and he's going to drop loons on this archer tower right there, here in the southern end. And they're going to meet up together. And honestly, this base is totally destroyed. He could have saved a loon for this back end to distract this wizard tower. Look, all his loons are clumped together. This wizard tower could take, that wizard tower could take out that whole entire loon. That's why you try to save loons for the back end to cause distraction. Luckily, they had full health. That was actually very dangerous, but nonetheless, you could tell his pathing, he synced up. I think that's the biggest thing. You gotta wait till that first air defense drops and then bring in your last of those loons as he did. Now I'm gonna show you this same attack. Look at that, heartbreaking on number, same attack here, 99%. And what went wrong? Honestly, it was just a couple little things. The kill squad didn't get quite as much as the other one, because on the first attack I showed you, look what I said. See, this time he brought 3 hounds, a little different. So now put the loon up top. Nicely done. Puts the loon here with archers. With loons. Joining up together nicely. Now he didn't put any loons here, and you necessarily didn't need to, because he understood these loons. Now he put them right that's actually nice. Look. He saved his loons here because he waited for this archer to lock onto the hound. But the pathing actually is good. Everything's going well. I like this. Loon here. Look, the same sort of strategy. This time, though, no loons on that archer tower. Look at that. Unfortunato. And because there was no loons here, the pathing, look, these loons will hit this wizard tower. They'll take out the mortar. Then they'll go to the bomb tower. Then they'll hit the archer tower and skip over that air defense. But he took down the air defense anyway. But look, some of these loons had to backtrack just a little too much. And since this wasn't down, that means the bulk of the loons, some of them didn't go to that Inferno Tower. So look, and he came over here. So just a little misplacement on that, and that kind of made honestly, that broke the deal right there. These loons had to backtrack, and is he going to run out of time? Yeah, I guess run out of time. So I think it would have saved a couple more loons. He would have had a couple more loons for the end. But I know it's really small and a nitpick, and you might be thinking, well, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's not really, you're just kind of making things up as you go along. No, it's those little things that make and break attacks. So let me show here the attack. This is a queen walk on a Town Hall 11. Let's see what gets done. Let's see. Nicely done on the queen walk. Gonna get a lot of stuff here, but we're focusing on the air portion. And doing nicely done. Will the queen get this final air defense? Yes, she will. Okay. Here we go. Now, you got to understand pathing. You would think, why not go on that wizard tower? Why not put loons there? Well, look. The loons are going to hit the cannon. They're going to hit the bomb tower. Then they're going to shift up to the warden, or they're going to go over here. They're not going to go to the wizard tower. Plus, the queen will get it. Nicely done. You don't have to waste any there. That's good. +1 already. Putting a haste down. Nicely done. You noticed. Look, maybe slightly late on that wizard tower, but it's okay. He still hasn't dropped his hound up here to the north. He's waiting patiently. You don't want to drop them too soon. If you drop them too soon, all your hound and loons are going to be caught off by themselves. You want to, again, sync them up in unison. So waiting nicely. Obviously, getting loons to the core could be very difficult. Now he drops in the hound. He only waited like 3 seconds, but it certainly made a difference. So look. This is really cool stuff from T. He's understanding what's happening. On these ring type bases, it's really hard to get your loons into the core, or it can be. He sees these loons right here. A lot of times people might haste this side, but he understands if he does not take down this mortar or this expo right here, all his loons are going to circle around the base and not hit the core. So he's putting a haste he's only got 2 loons there, maybe 3, to haste through this section. They'll take down the mortar, and these loons, as they hit that Inferno Tower, will then shift towards the core. Beautifully done. Look what happens. This goes down the mortar. Then he puts the haste, and look at that. Loons in the core. Exactly what he needed. He had to get loons in the core. It would have been a fail no matter what. He's got a heal for the back end, putting loons on the back end. He still has 2 more loons, so he can use these loons on this wizard tower to distract. Because look, he didn't even get down that. So it's still coming down to the wire. He does have the queens up, still alive. Putting the 2 loons here, nicely done. And he's got 1 more haste. 1 more haste to get through this section. Being very patient, but the queen will get down the Inferno Tower no matter what. Is he going to swag the haste? Probably a swag hit. Oh no, not going to swag it, but still. Nicely done. Pretty much a swag. So that's called pinching on these ring type bases. He saw what was going on. I'm sure he planned it, or if he hadn't planned it, he planned it in the middle of it. Beautifully done. Understanding pathing and figuring out what to do with it. So now we're talking about the Town Hall 9 attack, and we're going to talk a little bit about pathing. I'm going to speed it up. And I'm going to show you what the loon pathing is and how it works just a little bit, okay? Here we go, speeding it up. Okay, pause. Here we go. First things first. The hound should be over here. It should be dropped in front of the wizard tower so it will tank for it. Plus, you got to realize, once your loons come in here and take these out, after this air defense is gone, where are they going to path? Which one's closer? Well, your loons are actually going to path to this wizard tower, because it is closer than that expo. So what that means is, so how do you get to the expo? And then once they hit the wizard tower, they're probably going to hit this archer tower next. Maybe you might have 1 loon go towards there, but if this air sweeper is not taken down, they're definitely going to be pushed off to this archer tower. So either you're going to have to haste up this section and take down this wizard tower with, say, 3. If you brought in 3 loons with a haste, this wizard tower would drop probably, or 4. And then these loons right here will actually go to the expo. And so once this is cleared, then your hounds would hit this next, and then you would bring in your loons on this side. So let's see actually what happened. Just want to let you know that is the pathing, and let's see. So fine here, a little misplacement on that haste, but you know, it happens. So look what so this is not even dropped yet. It's exactly just what happened. This air sweeper pushed these back, and even if it wasn't there, the loons went to this wizard tower. So this expo is going to destroy them. Plus, with the Tesla farm, even worse. So see these loons coming in? These 2 loons should have been here on this one to haste them up. Yes, you would have lost those loons, but it would have been okay. The funneling would have been there. And then there's the back end. This expo would not have been taking all that damage. But you know, it happens, and thus the fail. Even though the queen did a lot of damage, it was just a little misplacement on the loons. Just slightly. You know, you might think, hey, it's going to work out. Those little things. Again, I'm not getting on the attackers. It's just a learning curve. It's hopefully we will get there together. So let me show you the 3. I think I 3-starred this. This was 3-starred by... Okay, here's the attack. Now this time coming in a little bit differently on this 3-star, but it's okay. This time coming into the south, going to take out the CC. It should get the enemy queen down as well. And okay, there's 3 loons. Oh well. So the queen was actually able to get down most of these air defenses, but let's see his loon placement and see how well it is going at this moment. Nicely done. So you can tell, look what he's doing. He put these loons down right when everything's pathing towards this sort of last air defense. He actually could have saved a couple more loons for this back end. I mean, it didn't matter, but you can tell he waited. He was patient, certainly on that right side. And honestly, this got a 3-star because the kill squad did so much damage. But now, let me jump on to some of the Town Hall 9 stuff. Shall we? We're going to speed this up. This is my favorite army composition for Town Hall 9. Bringing this exact army composition, pretty much. Using a big kill squad and all your spells and just using 3 haste. Now, where is he going to come in? The queen does get down that air defense. So there's 3 left. Where are you going to hit? Well, I assume he's coming. Okay. Look what's happening. Now, you might be thinking, why didn't he drop the loons? What's going on? Why didn't he drop the loons? Well, look what happened. He noticed the king is tanking these wizard towers. Plus, if he dropped the loons now, they would all be by themselves. The hounds would be by themselves in the core and be taking all this damage here. So he dropped the loons first because he realized what was going on. The loons needed to play catch up, if that makes sense. They needed to get closer to the core before he dropped his hounds. And he did that precisely, perfectly, amazing. So now when it gets in this tough section here, look, the hounds are already on the air defense. Perfectly done. Bada bing, bada boom. Here coming some hounds on the side. Nicely done. Oh my goodness, I really like that. Again, every base is a little different. Semper understood that his loons could be dropped first because he didn't want his hounds to be all alone without the loons close behind, if that makes sense. A beautiful 3-star from that. I had to show that one because, again, not every base you have to drop the hounds first. But most bases you do drop the hounds first. It's just that since that was an awkward, kind of a weird different base. Again, these aren't the best base designs. I don't care about that. All I'm looking for is loon pathing, loon placement. What do you do? Again, we're going to speed this up. Same sort of strategy. See what happens. Okay. I like this. Now, you could come from a couple areas. You could come from the south or you could come from the north. He's choosing to come from the north, and I like that. It's a fine strategy because this air defense is probably going to drop to the bowlers or that king or the golem. So coming up from the north, and you can tell the pathing is nice. See, look, all this is being tanked. He made sure to get that. These loons will then hit the air sweeper, come in, take down this air defense. You notice he hasn't dropped loons over here yet. You don't want to drop them yet. Make sure that air defense drops first. Then as your hounds pass to the second air defense, then you can bring in the other loons from the side. So they'll meet together in unison. So they're about to drop, maybe a little early. Maybe a little early on that. Yeah, a little bit early. I thought it was perfect, but not quite. So he lost a couple loons there. He could have waited till these hounds came into the core because this wizard would have locked on to the hounds. But nonetheless, he's still got the 3-star. But think about those things as you're dropping in your side loons. I mean, he crushed the base because it was a kind of a bad base design. But still, wait for that first air defense to drop. And then you can bring in your side loons. So here we go with another air attack. And let's look at some of this placement here. You know, standard, using golems for the kill squad with bowlers, that's pretty standard at the Town Hall 9 level. It's a great attack strategy. I really like it. Now let's see where he's going to come in spades. I assume it's a he. Maybe not. Okay. Come in here. Now this is good. This is good. Coming in on the side that you should. That's exactly where I would come in because the queen and the bowlers would take care of this southern side. So this is why you come in on this northern side. So let's see what went right. So when you notice this, when you know there's a Tesla and an Expo there, you're going to need more than 2 loons. You need to understand that. Let's see. Another indication, look what happened. So gonna need more because this Expo is gonna retarget. But look, see this loon here? Put the hound down first. Put the hound down first to tank for this, get the bombs as well. And let's see. Again. Yeah. Now he didn't know this Tesla was there, but if you put the hound down, kind of at this barracks, he would have caught the Tesla just for a second. Then you could have caught an audible and added more loons right there on the core. But the big thing was this misplaced at the early beginning. Not enough loons at the beginning. And so what that's going to make, it's just going to slow. He lost a couple more loons than he should have. And this Expo, not quite there. And look, you want to save these loons. Just a time, he was running out of. I mean, he wasn't going to. I don't think he was going to be able to get it, but just a little bit too early on those. Just because, see, this section wasn't even cleared, and he's already going for this southern section. Just a little bit too late. You could have done a bowler, maybe. No, he couldn't have. Not a bowler. What am I talking about? But again, it was just the little things. A couple misplacements on those loons and the hounds, and he lost, he just lost a couple that he shouldn't have lost. And that's kind of what made and break the attack, if that makes sense. It wasn't necessarily he put them in the he put a couple in the wrong location, but he just lost more loons than he should have, because he didn't account for things. And of course he didn't know that Tesla was there. I think it was a fresh hit, so I mean, you can't know that, but anyways, so hopefully that helped you out a bit. I'm gonna come out with another video, even talking more in depth and kind of hopefully showing more fails and successes and kind of the tweaks. But you kind of saw a little of it, but just kind of think about where the loons are gonna path and then plan accordingly. And yeah, I think it'll go well for you. It takes a lot of time and patience and practice. So get out there, clash on, subscribe so you can become better, and we'll learn together on the journey to the 3-star success. See you next time, my friends. Halo.